worst thing happened to you that could happen to any fighter. You got civilized.
I can't get him off. I can't get him off. I'm losing Apollo.
3 years have passed since Rocky defeated Apollo Creed and won the heavyweight title of the world. Rocky has been on a roll and has defended his title without much ado 10 times now. That is until a new hungry fighter with the eye of the tiger, Clubber Lang, played by Mr. T, seeks to take down Rocky. Rocky, no longer possessing this hunger to be the best, is now in danger of losing to Clubber Lang. Can Rocky deal with a fighter like Clubber Lang? And how does Rocky 3 compare to the first two movies? Let's find out. Rocky 3 holds a very special place in my heart. As a kid, I must have seen this movie in the movie theaters with my brother and my mom over 10 times. I mean, like, we saw every chance we could get. We'd go see one movie and then decide it sucked. In the middle of the movie, say, hey, look, Rocky 3's on right now. Let's go watch that one. So there's probably a good chance that this is the first Rocky that I ever saw. In my opinion, Rocky 3 still holds up and it still has something special to it. And I think that's because it still manages to surprise us. At this point, by the third movie, Sylvester Stallone has managed to create different perspectives in a boxer's career. This one being the successful champion, rich, living the soft life. I also like the way this movie addresses the theme of what happens when you have everything to lose. There is some advantages to being dirt poor and hungry and needing to climb your way to being the best, to getting the money, to being successful. Rocky's already successful. So he doesn't feel that drive to push himself to put it all in the ring, which is something that fighters are willing to do. And if you're not willing to do that, you're going to be really disadvantaged in the ring. This brings me to the theme of a thing that we can use to build better lives here. From this movie, I think it highlights the themes of the dangers of getting too comfortable in your reality, too comfortable being you, too comfortable not struggling anymore, and then actually leaves you susceptible to future pain and suffering. I myself have had that struggle with this relationship between pleasure-seeking activities and pushing myself to the point of discomfort to achieve a goal. I sometimes just want to sit in that pleasure-seeking thing. And although that type of thing, pleasure-seeking, like rewarding yourself with ice cream, having a beer, whatever you're into doing, watching TV, all those things are great. And I do think they can work as great reward systems after a hard day of work. However, I do think they tend to weaken me, and they tend to make it to where that's all I want to do, and I don't want to do anything, and then I'm depressed and unhappy all the time, and I'm trying to find larger reasons in these smaller things that are just pleasure-seeking. That's what they are, they're pleasure-seeking. And they lose their purpose, they lose their meaning when you don't have the opposite of the suffering. So try to push yourself more, whether it be on the bike, working out every day, or doing a hobby, whatever you're doing. Trying to push yourself beyond that, just sitting and watching Netflix or YouTube and doing nothing. That's what I do, and that's what I feel like I learned from this movie too. Rocky had gotten really soft, living the good life, man. And I do preach balance on this because David Goggins is a guy that helps pump me up. Sometimes I'm like, yeah! That guy is a bit too throttled because he can be too extreme on any of this stuff. But here's a quote from him that I do agree with. Comfort zones? If you live in one too long, that becomes your norm. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. So get out there and push yourself, challenge yourself every day before life does. This Rocky is not as good as the first two, that's for sure. And I think it's because they have a higher budget, and maybe because he's the super Rocky guy. Champion, making tons of money, but it has more of an action-packed movie thrill to it. It doesn't feel as like grindy and hard as the first two did. Nonetheless, this movie still holds together really well and is a great collection to the other two. And I honestly still think it fits in the arc of the story of a fighter. This movie still has great defeats, stunning wins, and awesome speeches. And that's why I'm giving Rocky 3 an 8.5 out of 10. But hey guys, you don't have to stop here. You can check out other videos. We have the playlist, Sylvester Stallone playlist, or Rocky playlist, whichever it's called. This right here. Or you can pick a random video right here. Either way, you can continue in building a better life through movies, TV, and documentaries.